morning.
Good morning.
All right, welcome. Good job being here early. How's everybody doing?
Great, how are you?
Pretty good. Sometimes on Fridays I go running in the morning and I got very wet doing that today. But I decided to just embrace it. It was actually good. So
I know I was driving my daughter to school and it wasn't raining. And we're not that far away from school. I'm like, oh, I should have walked you. And then whoosh, like, oh,
yeah.
So fast to walk.
Yeah, at first it's like, oh, I'm uncomfortable. And then you just kind of get to a point where it's like, this is just what's happening. So it was good.
Yep.
And I was able to like protect my phone. I took my sweatshirt off and like wrapped my phone in my sweat. Anyway, I should have just checked the weather, but.
Good call. Yeah, we need to get you one of those little, like waterproof. Or do you not plan to run in the rain next time?
No, I probably have too much input and I need to just enjoy the sounds of nature, but I usually like listen to a podcast or something. And in the rain, I just had to like listen to the birds and that was good. So. All right, welcome everybody. We still have a couple minutes. So thanks for being here early. In just a few minutes, I'm gonna put up an agenda of who's going first. And I have Cyrus first, then Victoria, Arjun, Aaron, and William. So that's the plan. But and I have little time slots for everybody, but I'll be doing that more officially in just a few minutes when more people arrive. So.
Oh, hello.
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 Hey.
Hello.
So I'm going to wait a couple minutes because we're still a little early and we'll get started a little after 11:15 today. So I'm a little jealous of the UNO people being done. My husband teaches a class at UNO and he just submitted his grades and I was like, I can't relate to that right now. So I'll talk to you in a couple of weeks.
I think the one thing that helps though is that we all teach summer classes. So
right. Yeah. Yes,
I
know.
We're starting up. We're getting ready for our June and July sessions. I teach.
Oh, okay. So it just continues then.
Yeah. So don't feel, it's fair to be sad that you're not done and that we are done, but we're just ramping up.
Right. I know. And even, yeah, I know. Same here. I think one of these years I need to just not teach in the summer. I think that's probably something I need to do in my future. So
yes, a colleague of mine,
done, so.
A colleague of mine, when she got tenure, she said, I'm going to take one summer off. I'm just going to take one summer off from teaching. So maybe one day for us, Emily, maybe one day we'll do it.
Yes.
Rachel's like, no, I don't want to figure that out. No.
All right. Well, welcome everybody. The time is 11:16, so I think we'll get started. Normally the Metro Noyce mentors, we meet every second Friday and we meet at 11:30. And I tried to schedule it a little earlier today to give everybody some time to present and talk to each other. So thanks again for being here and looking at the faces of who's here so far. We have a variety. We have some people mostly from Metro. We have Dr. Gomez Johnson from UNO and we have William Donlin from UNO. We might have some others from UNO joining us. Joseph is here. He's going to be an intern in the summer and maybe in the fall as well. So he's kind of just observing and getting to see what this is all about. We have our interns, we have our mentors. So anyway, thanks everybody for being here. My name is Emily Van Hook and I'm a faculty member at Metro. I teach math And one of my roles in the Noyce grant is to supervise the interns as well as the mentors at Metro. So we do this in cooperation and alongside UNO, but we kind of have our own way of doing things. And so I think this is a unique opportunity to just talk to each other, hear from each other, and hear how the experiences have been. So I'm going to share my screen very briefly just to show a plan for our time together, and this can be adjusted. So we are planning to hear from 5 students. So we have 4 Noyce interns from MCC, and then we have a Noyce scholar, and looks like I forgot to unspell check your last name there, William. Sorry about that. So William is here. William has been working with Amanda Olson, who is a Metro faculty member. So it's kind of a nice crossover. So I did want to just lay out this plan. So I was going to have Cyrus be our first presenter at 11:20. I don't see him here yet, so we can switch the order. Victoria, I might have you go first instead. And then if he arrives late, then we can switch around. Then Arjun, and then Aaron, and then William. I have 10-minute time slots for each student. You don't have to take up the whole 10 minutes. I think you were told 5 to 10 minutes. So that could be, we can kind of go in that range. So last time we met in the winter when we did this, we did have time for kind of questions and discussion. We might not have that much time today just because there's more of us here. So anyway, we'll kind of just see how it goes. If we have time at the end, we can maybe talk together as one big group, but we'll try to end by around 12:15 because some of us have another meeting at 12:30. So that was intentional, so just to prevent us from going on forever. So yeah, and then I had a note here, I just wanted to say thank you to the mentors that have been working with these interns and scholars. We really couldn't do any of this without the mentors. You're the ones that keep this going. So thank them, Samuel, Manar, Al Sakir, Rachel Nurath, Amanda Olson, myself. We also have Mel Mays here. He's been a mentor before. Dr. Johnson is a mentor. So there's a lot of mentors that are not here that have made this program really great as well. So thank you for the work that you guys do as well. All right, so I'm going to close my screen here. All right, and I don't see that Cyrus is here, so I think I'm going to have Victoria go first, and yeah, take it away, Victoria.
Okay, thank you. Hold on, let me pull it up. All right, can you see my screen? I think you guys can.
Yes, we can see it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I just want to make sure I wasn't muted because I didn't hear a response. So
yeah. Actually, before you go any further, Victoria, it kind of looks like the shape of a phone, like it's a vertical rectangle. I don't know if we're not seeing the sides or something, but
oh no, it's supposed to be like that.
It's supposed to be like that. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, please continue.
Like okay, so this quarter I worked in a modular classroom, which was a little different than last quarter because last quarter I just assisted with a traditional class at the end. But in the modular class, there are 3 different courses in the class, and I worked with the 0930 students. I mostly assisted them at the beginning of the quarter with helping them with the MyLabs Plus platform, helping them navigate it, understand the quizzes and tests and the homework assignments. And it was definitely a challenge at first because I didn't know I wasn't super familiar with the student version of the platform. And especially it was even harder when they couldn't share their screen and they were describing things to me that I didn't know what they were talking about, but we eventually figured it out and I was able to help them with their opening up their quizzes and stuff and homework assignments. And I also learned how to have confidence in students and especially in the responsibility. In a modular classroom, students are really on their own pretty much all the time. They just ask for help if they need it. And I learned how to trust them to finish their assignments. And I would ask them every class, you know, how are you doing? Please stay on track. We want you to finish this class. It's really hard work to keep yourself focused, but a lot of the students were able to do it, and they were really respectful, the 0930 students, and I enjoyed working with them. And then another thing I did this quarter, which was I held Zoom tutoring sessions. I held them on Tuesday and Thursday nights from 8:30 to 9:30. And when I worked with students, I tried to put myself in their shoes, really to understand what they were thinking. I had a few experiences this quarter with being the student in a Zoom tutoring session when I visited tutors. And it was definitely good for me to see what it was like to be in the student position and how I want to replicate in my tutoring sessions. I definitely wanted to be student focused. So when I did Zoom tutoring sessions, I tried to speak slowly and speak everything that comes into my mind and ask students questions frequently and just make them feel comfortable. For example, there was a student who came to me a couple of nights ago, I think, and he was working on a factoring problem, and it was a challenging problem, multiple terms and big numbers. And so throughout the entire problem, multiple times, I asked him, how are you doing? Does this make sense? Do you need me to go back? And he did really well, and I think asking him questions definitely helped him understand the problem. I would definitely want to make students, I don't want students to leave more confused than when they came. So I want to make my Zoom tutoring sessions a great experience for them. I also picked up a new activity this quarter. I worked on math videos. It was a challenge at first to make the videos to understand my video platform that I use, but I eventually figured it out. I heard many students needed help with graphing linear equations, so I made a few videos on that. I made a total of 5 videos, I think 4 linear equations, and then one solving just some basic linear. 4 of them were graphing linear equations, and one of them was just solving basic linear equations. I sent one of the video to the teachers, which I got some great advice on how to improve, my teaching and kind of make some things more clear with slope. I tried to make them very short, about under 8 minutes at least, because I don't want students to feel like they're watching a lecture video, because that's not fun. I know they don't want to watch math videos all day. I also tried to show every step, which was a challenge for me because I'm more advanced, obviously, and I do lots of things in my head, but they're not as advanced and they need to see every step. I also tried to fix little habits I have, like moving my hands a lot or moving my marker a lot when I made the videos. I thought that was super distracting when I watched it, and I don't want the students to be distracted. And I plan to dedicate myself more to these videos in the upcoming quarters, hopefully make an entire playlist for a math course in a little bit. And then the other activity that I really enjoyed this quarter, which I enjoyed a lot last quarter too, was the UNO meetings. I participated in a couple activities this quarter at the meetings, which were a lot of fun, such as professional interviews. Some critical points I learned from those was to always ask questions of the interviewer when you're in a job interview, to make it seem that like you care about the company, you care about them, and you're not so self-focused. I also witnessed the Calculus Bee, which was a lot of fun on Zoom, which was different, but a lot of fun. It didn't go as planned, but I definitely enjoyed watching the UNO students put so much time and effort into the bee. I watched a few Fridays when they were running through all these different problems, going through the whole thing, and it was really great to see the effort that they put in, and inspired me. Hopefully I will be able to help in person next year at UNO. So yeah, I had a great quarter, and I'm looking forward to next quarter at keep doing the things that I'm doing. So yeah, that's my presentation.
Wow, thank you, Victoria. That's wonderful.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I love the infographic again. I know you did that last time.
Mhm.
So a question I have is, I'm curious to know, what are you using for your videos? Like, how are you making them and where are you posting them?
To record, I'm just using my cell phone. Is that what you were wondering?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I just use my cell phone,
Okay.
and then I upload them to YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. I remember seeing one of them, and yeah, it was an actual video. It wasn't just sharing your screen. It was a video of you writing on paper. I'm like, oh yeah, that's what the students are doing. They're not writing on screens; they're writing on paper. So that's cool. Yeah, keep us updated on that because we might want to link our classes to your playlists. Okay, so
Okay,
that's great. Very good. Thank you, Victoria. Okay. Well, it's 11:28, so let's move on to the next person. And if other people have questions or comments, put them in the chat. Of course, you guys know about Zoom at this point, but if there's other questions or comments that you have for any of our presenters, we can try to have some time for that at the end. Let's see. Rachel sent me a message about Sarus might be here late. So I'm just going to keep pushing, and if he comes here, he'll present. If not, Rachel's gonna speak on his behalf, but we'll move on to the next person in the meantime. So the next intern I would like to hear from is Arjun.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
And here is my presentations about the reflection presentation about the spring quarter as an intern. I am Azim Bhatrai. Thank you for this opportunity so I can work as an intern, and I got chance to learn many things from the teachers, professors, and I can share many things to the students. So learning as an intern, this is my second time as learning as a Noyce intern. So before I have worked in winter quarter as an intern. So I got many experience from the winter, and this times I got more upgrade on my knowledge. So I can become more confident to share with my friends and students. So we got more chance to get communication with the teachers and with the students in the Zoom tutorings, in modular classes, in remote classes. We got more chance to interact with the UNO's meetings and many other conference like calculus bees and other. Specifically working as a spring intern, I got chance to attend both remote and modular classes. So I got chance to refresh my knowledge, and I can share to the students who have problem in the modular classes. So every week while planning with the mentors, I got chance to get the new way of planning, new way of meeting the students, focusing on the weak students, how to review their assignments, exams. So, and similarly, while working, I used to conduct the Zoom tutoring every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. So meeting new students in the Zoom tutoring, helping on their problems like students of 9:30, 15:30, 15, 13, 15s. I got many students who and solve their problems in their assignments or upcoming exams, quizzes. So sometimes I used to get surprised with in modular classes we have a different grade of student work, same in a same platform like 9:30, 15, 13. So working with the some 15, 13 level of students and working with this at the same times 19, 30 students with like a different knowledge level. So it used to surprise me. Some challenges of my during the spring quarters was to encourage the students to ask more questions in the modular classes. They used to sometimes they used to say there is no problems, so we need to encourage that, saying that in which section you are, in which problems you are facing, sharing the screens with them, and working together with their questions, seeing how they are doing. That we used to encourage them to get the questions to be in the track, to get the assignment in early. And sometimes it is to be challenges or disappointed is not getting the student in the Zoom tutorings. Here's some future goals is like as an intern or as a student, I want to increase my knowledge in the math. And so I'm planning to take the more math classes in the summer quarters. And I'm planning to continue as a math intern, as a Noyce intern. And other goal is to learning and identifying the new techniques, how to get the students, how to solve their problems in an easy way. And taking the advantage from the meetings, UNO meetings, MCC meetings and conferences and other programs. And that's all. That's my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Arjun. Something I'm noticing from each of you so far, and we're going to hear from Aaron as well, you've now each had experiences in modular classes as well as traditional classes. Arjun, do you want to say any more about that? Like, do you have a preference between the two, or what do you think? What do you think about how your experiences have been in a modular class versus a traditional class? What do you think about that?
Winter quarter, I have only been participating in the remote classes, but this time I took both remote and modular classes. I feel like modular classes, we can take more time on the student getting their problems. Like in remote classes, the professor is to take more times. But in a modular classes, we can participate more with the students in one-to-one interactions. So that can help us to get the more problems from the students, and we can practice more with that questions too for the next quarter or next days. I think modular classes is best for learning for us too.
Interesting. Yeah. Good. I don't know. Has anybody else noticed anything about what your experience has been like? I don't know if Victoria, you want to speak to that as well. How has it been different between modular and in person? And I know, Aaron, you're going to talk about that in a few minutes. But yeah, Victoria, did you have anything else to add about that?
You know, I like them both for different reasons. I like the modular classroom, I guess because there's more independence on the students, and they have the freedom to do their work at their own pace. However, they can get kind of slow when students don't ask that many questions. So that's, I guess, when a traditional classroom is more fun. But I really like them both. Think for different reasons. Think they're great for students for that.
Yeah, and just so UNO people are aware of what we're talking about, a modular class, basically students work at their own pace. And so back in the before times, they would be in the classroom working on laptops, and the instructor would be there kind of more as a tutor to walk around and kind of check in individually on students' progress. We would have assistants in the classroom, partly to just help us manage the laptops and check them in and out and plug them in, but also to be there as a tutor to also kind of talk to students. And now we're doing that on Zoom. And so that's been interesting. So I'm interested to hear from the interns as well. All right, thank you. So thank you again, Arjun. Aaron, let's hear from you next, please.
Right. Start with. Hey, hi everybody. This is my presentation about my experience when I do the spring quarter at an internship. So, the first thing I would talk about is the different work between two quarter I have worked like an internship. So the last quarter, I spent almost of my time on the modular class, which is I need to have student keep track. I need to have my mentor keep track on student and make sure that they don't have any problem in the processes that they do in the course. And on the other hand, that I need to have the student with their educate problem, like they stuck in with any problem, any question that they need to have. And a part of my job on the last quarter is Zoom tutoring. So well, it's not too much too many things to talk about it because I don't know why, but maybe my time to work as a Zoom tutor is not good, or they don't want to comment. I just got some people comment late, and I mean that I really happy when somebody comment and ask me something. And yeah, it's really fun, but there's not always have people in my in my Zoom, so it's a little bit this one. Okay, so, about it this quarter, I probably work in half of modular class and a half of the traditional class. So about a modular class is basically the same thing with the last quarter, and about the lecture class of this quarter, uh, it's really new with me, and I have a bunch of things to like get well with that. Like the first that this is the first time I standing there and watching my mentor how to start a lecture class and how she working with the student. And in this traditional class, the special thing I can do is the creating slide and uh, rating and giving comment. So I know that the teachers always like do the grading and giving comment to make the student be improve themselves later. But I don't think it's come like that hard. Like I will talk about it a little bit later, but yeah, I feel really hard about doing that grading and giving comments. And about Zoom tutor, uh, this quarter is much be better than the last quarter. So more people know about me, and I got more students coming, and they usually come like 1 days and the day after. Like the first day they come in for a problem, the later they come in for the lecture. Like if they don't understand something, they will come in and ask me about it. It's really interesting, and it show that yeah, I really improve myself to attract the student to comfort with me. Right, and next I will show you the slide that me and my mentor are always working before we get into the class. So yeah, let's see all of it. So usually we got 2 or 3 slides to start the class. So let's see how we start. So we give them 2 or 3 questions, 2 or 3 questions about like about stating to make them feel really comfortable, happy to get started with the class. Then we have a small question like this one to contact it with the lecture we showed them today, like this one, and we got 3 more questions later. And after this, we divide them to 3 groups and make sure that each group can show their question and get back to the main room. And in the main room, we need to take a person in the group to show it how they do this, to show all the students. And then we show them a little bit thing like about it, but it's more harder. Like let's oh, all right,
Did you
like
make the
this
one
one.
for next week yet? Maybe not.
I'm not really.
No, that's okay. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I shouldn't have interrupted. Please
Right.
continue.
So like this slide, uh, me and my mentor are talking about the graphing or sketching the line to the that equation, but instead of just give them 2 equation and make them how to sketch it, we talk about how to make them connect with the parallel lines to make Earth connect to the parallel line and talk about it a little bit. And later, when to the next week comment, they will know what is parallel lines, and they will understand it better. And that's how we always do it with this one. We always plan this on first day on the meeting, just me and my mentor. Okay, and that's all about the slide. Now get back to the thing surprisingly. So like I said on the last slide, grading and giving comment is really hard. I mean that everybody will think that you guys just need to like check in that correct or incorrect. Yeah, that's just a part of it. Like you know that some student they don't just doing that. They need to show the work, and like an international student like me, I also have really more way to show that problem, and it's never like the same with the thing we have this on the class. So I need to find that it is the correct way, and I try that's best to me to find that can we give more grade or more credit on that problem for the student, and come to the given comment. It's probably really hard. You know that after they taking the test, they really don't want that you say like something like, "Hey, you do really bad," or "You need to do it again," or "Your test is really work," or something like that. So yeah, at the first time I doing this, my mentor has noted me that I know that you want to say the truth, but if you say it like that, the student will feel bored, disappointed, and they don't want to learn anymore. So after that, I think that yeah, even myself, when I finish a test, I don't really want my professor or my teacher say that you do really bad. So I try to positive as I can. Like I give them like, oh, this one you do pretty good. uh, Even though that you have some small problem and something you need to improve like this, like that. Yeah, and after day by day doing this, I feel that yeah, it's better. Like the student even feel they like me. I feel like they like me more. So it's good. It's really good. And the second thing surprising me is creating material like the slide. Uh, like I just show you guys that we also start with 2 or 3 small questions. The question that's just don't relate any about the lecture. It's just relay about themselves to make them positive, think positive, happy to be start a class. And I think it's not easy like what we said about positive. Like to make I mean to think about a question that can give you feel happy all the day. It take me a lot of time. I mean, we start planning about on Thursday, and it take 2 days later on Saturday night. I can figure out what I can ask about it, and yeah, that's the second thing. And the third thing that surprised me is the lecture class. Uh, So the last quarter, I worked almost on the modular class. So my work is just one by one, like just only me and the student. And now when we come to the lecture class, the first when I come in, I feel, oh, maybe they will just turn off the Zoom. They just turn off the camera, turn off they just mute and don't say anything. So, but the surprising me that this class is really fun. Like many people come and talk about what they want, what they think, and even the problem what they stuck with. Uh, it's the first class I feel like they really close together. Even we just work through Zoom, but they really close together. Yeah, it's really fun to see this class working like that. And that's done to something surprising me. So to improve what I influence or what I get from uh, study and doing at the internship this quarter is presentation skills. So this one is including the English and confidence and explanation. So after working day by day to help students with their problem, I kind of believe that my way to explanation the problem to have them bridge with that is better and better. And my confidence and my English is go better and better later. But it's good because like when I stuck with something I can can explain with them, I try to look up and try a way that I can have them to get well with that and get understand that question. And the second thing is creativity. Creativity is the part of every job or something, but it's kind of really fun when you try to making material, try to think to have the student improve themselves after the test or after homework. And the last thing and really important thing is the teacher work. So um, everybody would think that teacher is, and in my opinion, it's not that easy. It's really busy, really busy. So even that I just do the grading, giving comment, making the slide, it still consume a lot of time for me. And and one more thing that I believe that the teacher really working hard because you can see that I just try to start to think positive and have the student, but they always like the teacher. They always need to do it, and they just not only have one class, they have more than one class and more than uh, a student. They got a bunch of students, and they everybody every single one is different, and they need to like know that different and help them get well with that. It's really hard. And the last thing in my future goal, so the closest goal for me need to graduate my IT major. That's the first thing. The second thing that I try to get a scholarship or a job or as another intern to like to help me improve myself on the way I work like this. And it's not a thing that I will get scholarship. No, I just try to get it. So to try to get it, I need to improve it myself, like improving what I were working like this and improving myself in everything. I like I doing the Photoshop. I learned about Photoshop to making material. I learned about AIs to making the video, and I learned a bunch of things to what I believe that they can help me with my career. So yeah, that's my presentation. Thank you guys for listening.
Wow, that's great. I don't know if everybody caught all of that, but some of what Aaron just said felt really validating as a teacher. So that's not why we have interns, to see how hard teaching is, but it's a little bit. So yeah, that's so much, Aaron. And yeah, I mean, I can say this about all the interns, but you've really grown a lot and improved a lot. And so that's just really excellent. So thank you so much for that presentation. Aaron works with me in my class. So the class he was talking about that he said is really fun and they're close to each other. It's true. I think we kind of got lucky. But also I think it's been really helped by having an intern, and just Aaron's helping me to kind of break out of my comfort zone of having them work in groups and breakout rooms and talk to each other. And it's been a really unique experience for me as well. And I think the students have really benefited. So yeah, thank you and great job. All right, good. So let's see. I think I'm going to have William Donlin present next. And William is a UNO student. Okay, go ahead, William.
Thanks, Emily. Yeah, I'm a UNO student. So if you don't know me, hello, my name's William. Nice to meet some of you for the first time. I was paired with Amanda Olson, who, of course, is at Metro. So that's been an interesting dynamic this semester. And I have, I'm going to share my screen here, although I'm using a different laptop than I've been using before. So hopefully this goes well. Oh, no. Okay. Yes, share. So I made a PowerPoint, but then I was like, it's not a very interesting PowerPoint. So I did not go with it. And as Dr. Johnson will know, I didn't get a chance to actually use this survey for its intended purpose. So I need to get some use out of it. So one of the biggest projects I worked on this semester was I read this book called The Teaching Gap, which is all about our underlying cultural beliefs surrounding teaching and mathematics and students. And what they did was they went to different countries and they filmed math lessons and they analyzed them and came to some conclusions, and it's all in the book. And so what I did, I found this really interesting. Oh no, you guys just see a black screen? Okay.
Yeah, it's like you're sharing your Zoom screen, but it's just black right now.
Oh,
I saw a Word
am I
document,
sharing
but
the
then it
wrong
went down.
page?
There we go. Now I see it. I don't know.
Okay. I can't have you guys up and the document at the same time. Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. So one of the things I kept in mind as I was reading The Teaching Gap is that a lot of these underlying cultural beliefs around teaching are kind of like the axioms that we use in a math system. You know, we choose our assumptions and then we build structures on top of them. And if we choose slightly different axioms, we get entirely different structures. And part of what the book did, and part of what I tried to do as a part of this Socratic seminar, is I sent out this survey that kind of gauged the beliefs of some of the other interns and scholars that attend our regular Noyce meetings. And then we watched some videos that they recorded in the actual studies written about in The Teaching Gap. And we tried to come to our own conclusions about them in a similar way that they did in the book. And we came to some surprising conclusions. For example, in the United States, teachers, when they're asked, what do you want students to learn from a math class? 61% that say some kind of skill or procedure that they want the students to know. They want the students to know how to solve a particular kind of problem. But when you juxtapose that with the Japanese teachers, when they're asked, what do you want your students to learn in the math classroom? They don't say that any procedures. They want the students to understand relationships between different concepts and facts. And that's kind of a subtle distinction, but as we build on those assumptions, our classrooms end up looking very different. Because in the United States, if we believe that everything in math is a kind of procedure or a way to solve a problem, then the way that you learn math is by practicing problem solving, by getting problems and just doing them. And as a consequence of this, a lot of US teachers believe that learning math is boring, which is really counterproductive. And Japanese teachers don't have this same kind of belief. They believe that learning math is inherently interesting. And when we're teaching math in the United States, we want to keep engagement moment to moment. And the way that we do that is by trying to incorporate things outside of the domain of mathematics to try and, and I'm not knocking, getting personal with your students or investing in them personally, but reaching outside of mathematics just to kind of put a flair on a word problem, changing it aesthetically to fit some preferences. That might have some kind of benefit, but it's just an aesthetic change. And Japanese teachers take the approach that the mathematics is interesting to learn in its own right, and that a challenging problem is going to be interesting enough for the students. Whereas we in the United States will typically view challenge as a bad thing. We view it as something to be avoided. If a student is having challenges in a problem, we need to correct that. That's kind of a sign that they haven't learned something. So in reading The Teaching Gap and in doing the Socratic seminar, I learned a lot about and I'll stop sharing here for a so I can go back to the Zoom page. See Faith. I learned a lot about some of the underlying beliefs that we have in the classroom. And then as I went into my practicum, I was able to kind of see these in action. And it surprised me how much how much this really influences us, and how much it influences even the problems that we choose. And I noticed this in our classroom. We would often begin the lesson with the same kind of level of problems that we ended with. We would walk through, a problem on a certain kind of challenge or difficulty level, and we would kind of end the lesson on that same place. There wasn't a lot of room for growth. Students weren't developing their own methods with each other. They're seeing the teacher perform a method and then trying to copy it. So these were all things that I took out of doing this particular project. It's the project I'm most proud of this semester. I feel like I put the most effort into it, and I got a lot of the other scholars reading the teaching app, and we got a bunch of copies of this. So if you're interested in getting a copy, talk to me or Dr. Johnson or Emily, and I'm sure they'll hook you up. What are some other things I didn't touch on? Oh, yeah. A challenge that I had this semester was staying organized. I have ADHD, so organization is a problem in general, but moving forward, I want to keep up on my bullet journal that I have just made myself last week, and my goal is to keep up on that consistently, and to continue to improve and question my underlying beliefs around teaching and the classroom. I think I've touched everything. So that's going to be the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Wow, William, I feel like the slides that Aaron just showed prove your point, because we totally did that. Here's how you do it. First, we show it, we make you feel really comfortable, then we send you to the breakout room. So you're challenged, but not too challenged. That's really interesting, because yeah, we've talked about that, where we've had some days where we feel like they're a little bit on their own and they don't know what they're doing, but maybe, I don't know, it's such a balance. Like, we probably should trust them to be challenged and to work on their own a little bit more. But I don't know. This is getting me thinking. So that's really interesting. Thank you for that. And now I want to get that book.
Definitely.
All right.
We have them. We'll get you one.
Okay, great. That sounds great. Good. Thank you, everybody, so far. And I think we want to hear from one more person. So we had another intern join us a little bit late in the spring quarter, but he'll be continuing into the summer, I think, right?
Yes.
Yes. And his mentor is Rachel Nurath, and Cyrus is our intern, but he's not able to be here. So Rachel, would you like to speak on his behalf and just talk about?
Yeah,
what you guys
absolutely. Yeah, Cyrus apologizes. He had an emergency come up this morning. So he sent me notes of what he wanted to talk about, and they're not in a presentation format. They're notes, but that's okay. So I'm going to kind of read them off. And basically, like Emily mentioned, Cyrus joined us right at like the first week of April. So about halfway through the quarter. He's been working with my on-campus college algebra class and doing Noyce. He has a Zoom tutoring session on Friday evenings after our traditional Math Center closes. So he's putting himself kind of out there in the evenings for some people to come in and log on. Little just small background. Cyrus is he has a degree, a master's degree in civil engineering. So he has a very unique background in his own, from his home country. And so he's been working in a different manner. Over the summer, he is going to be working with me still, but this time in a statistics course. And we're really hopeful, because right now we've had these fantastic Noyce interns offering these tutoring sessions, none of whom are really comfortable with statistics. And so we're going to dedicate a Noyce intern this coming summer rather, who will only be, well, we're not going to say only, he can help with any course, but we're going to kind of market it to the statistics students. And as a statistic instructor, I'm thrilled, because there's a lot of questions that come up since it's such a unique course compared to the algebra sequence. So And most of you already know that. So here are some of what Cyrus put together as his remarks. And he kind of made a list of 5 topics. So he did say one of the things he really learned by, observing the classroom and teaching is the importance of asking questions, checking for understanding often. That was something he didn't recognize as something that would be as useful. He's also learned more about time in his experiences as a student in Iran. Instructors came to class right on time and maybe only stayed about 5 minutes after for questions, and coming in a little early, being willing to stay late to answer those individual questions. He sees that value. And I know many of us do that as instructors, and we are used to that, I think, but he's kind of recognizing, kind of goes a little bit to the teaching gap talk that William shared, just that cultural differences on how the education is handled. Let's see. He does make a comment, he sees that here at MCC, we have lots of ways for learning math with the math centers, the interns, instructors available before and after class. A lot of students aren't using those, he comments that. And so he wonders if our students know that students in other countries don't have those opportunities, they may be more eager to take advantage of the very opportunities that we make available. So that was kind of an interesting take from his perspective. All right, let's see, 2 more things. I'm flipping to the next page. Let's see, and then he mentions one challenge for him is English. He speaks English kind of hesitantly. He's actually taking some ESL classes currently. So he's studying English and he thinks he's correct, but he's improving. He's slowly improving on his verbal communication skills. And so that's something that I think is we'll see big improvements, of course, as he continues working. But that's one of his largest challenges, is just the language component. And then his last statement here, I am a civil engineer. I'm going to just quote from him directly. I am a civil engineer, but I love math too. And I think I can do both together because I love to help people and want to learn more math. When I was a student in high school until now, I've always helped people in math, but in my knowledge. So he's working on pulling that together. He's done over the course of his years as an adult, various tutoring of friends and relatives here and there, but to kind of formalize that is something he's been working on. And Cyrus has been fantastic to work with. In my on-campus classes, we're still quite limited in class size, so it's a small group, but he's been really great with helping him one-on-one here and there. And I'm super thrilled about the opportunity to get an intern who has a focus in statistics over the next couple of months.
That's great. Well, thank you, Rachel, for sharing on Cyrus's behalf. And it's good to hear that it's going well. And I know probably starting in the middle of the quarter was a little bit challenging, but hopefully, it seems like you guys are working well together, and I'm really happy about that. So thank you for that. All right, good. Well, let's see. I think we're on schedule. So the time is 12:05, and we're scheduled to meet until up to 12:15. So thank you again for the interns and scholars. We have some faculty members here from UNO and Metro, including our mentors. So I just want to open up the time a little bit to anybody else. Does anybody have any questions or comments that you wanted to bring up right now, since we have a little time?
Thanks, Emily, for all your coordination and leadership at Metro. Thank you to all of the mentors. I found it so interesting, just all the things that you're learning that are about math teaching and learning, and that are just about being a professional, or about working with others, or about language, or about, there's just so many other things that kind of come along with it. So just thank you all for everything that you do. Yeah, and thank you for saying that, and thank you to the people from UNO
who are here. So I think I mentioned it before, but we have a student named Joseph who is here, and like I mentioned at the beginning, he's going to be working in the summer. I don't know who his mentor will be yet, but it'll be somebody good. And so we'll be happy to have him join our group here. And I also have two other, I've interviewed two other brothers actually, but applicants who are hoping to be interns. I think they're probably going to be starting in the fall. So anyway, I think this program has been really interesting, especially since most of it has been not in person. It's been, mostly in this strange, year and a half. And I think we've made it work fairly well. And it's really exciting to see what everybody's been doing and learning. So again, thank you for everybody's participation and for being here. So, all right, well, I think we can end early. That's okay. So does anybody have any other questions or comments or anything for today?
It was a great job, everyone. Really appreciated learning what you've been doing.
Yeah, thank you. All right, well, I think we can sign. Oh, did you have a question? Sorry, go ahead.
Just a quick question, Emily. I noticed that you're recording, so will you be able to share the recording of this with Sirius so he can see others?
Absolutely, yes.
That'd be fantastic. Thanks.
Yes, I will be doing that. Yeah. Good. All right. Well, if anybody wants to stick around to chat about anything, I'll be here. This is always how I end classes. I say, "Are there any questions?" Then there's silence. Yeah. So I'll stick around if anybody wants to talk. I'll see some of you at 12:30, and otherwise, good job, everybody. And Metro interns, we're not done. We still need you for the next few weeks. Our quarter ends on May 26th. And I'm a fairly last minute person. So if you haven't heard from me about summer, don't worry, I didn't forget about you. We're making plans for summer, and summer quarter begins Sunday, June 6th. So we have just a little time in between. All right. So I think we're dismissed unless anybody wants to stick around. So thank you very much. Bye.
Thanks.
Oh, Michael, you are muted. There you go.
I'll let Aaron go first.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I just said that, do we have any mission after 12:30 or something?
Oh, sorry. No, that's not for you.
Oh,
No,
okay.
so yeah, sorry for confusing you. No, some of the leadership we meet at 12:30. But no, you're good.
Oh,
You're
right.
done.
Yeah, right.
All right. Bye.
I'm sure we'll talk about this probably at the meeting at 12:30, but I had a family friend pass away this week. Close friend, and funeral arrangements are happening, and I'm a big time part of it. So it's I have no idea if I'll be in the meeting, or if, I was in this meeting for about half of it as I was dealing with phone calls from her son. And
oh, wow. Okay.
so, but question, some of them were saying, when I get to UNO, so are any of them coming to UNO soon?
I need to double check on that. I don't remember, and I don't have specifics on that in terms of people starting in the fall or anything. So I don't know, but that's a good reminder to check on that.
Well, there's it's on our end. There's an issue. This isn't your responsibility. This is our responsibility. We need to get the information because we need to reach out to them and say, hey, do you want to become a scholar?
Right.
And so we need kind of that. We need the information from you, but we should have been asking you sooner, probably. Are any of them obvious candidates for it?
So, okay, I'm still recording. I'm going to just click stop right now. Okay.